take a look here, this tree completely uprooted in this yard. And if you follow me this way, I want to show you this is part of a tin roof that blew off from a couple of chicken houses all the way across the street. Chris, right now Jefferson County is recording votes on machines like this, and some of them are just quite simply falling apart, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. These legs used to be attached to the bottom of the machine right here, but recently just broke off. Now, as you mentioned, only a few peaceful protesters have showed up here so far, but they do say they're expecting more to keep showing up through the night, and of course one of them here is Miss Ashley DeLong. So Ashley, you've been here the past few days, so tell me, what's really the message you're trying to get out? You know, you can see police right now trying to enforce this curfew. They have shields. They're telling everyone that they will be arrested if they don't go home right now. We're here at the Target on South University, one of the many businesses damaged after the protest last night. And if you take a look, you can see part of the door completely boarded up here and blocked off to customers. To give you an idea of just how intense these flames were, if you take a look at this car, it's several feet away from the entrance of the house, but those flames completely melting the front end of this Buick. Police tell me it's a crime of opportunity. Many of these cases involving victims not locking their car doors and then keeping their keys in the ignition, making their cars easy targets. We're here at the intersection of 38th and Crutcher Streets, and it's hard to tell there is even a road here behind me because of how backed up this water is. Beth, it's still a very active scene here on Palo Alto Drive where this all happened. Police telling us a man was shot and killed in the middle of the street here. Chris, you don't have to live by the river to feel the effects from this flooding. We just spoke to some employees here at Heights Taco right before this live shot, and they say right now there's a lot of unknowns, but this ban doesn't really come as a surprise to them. They shut down their dining room earlier this week.
Especially once those protesters left the governor's mansion.
Yeah, Chris, that's right. Both of them really stressed that they want to protect the rights of protesters, but they will not tolerate violent acts or destruction. Beth, if you take a look at this damage, you can just imagine how intense these flames were. And now those living nearby say they just want to know how it happened. The air hangs thick with smoke Wednesday afternoon as this massive blaze overtakes an old school building in Jacksonville.
It was all in flames, and I was like, I thought somebody was hurt, or so we called 911.
City officials say the building was no longer in use and has been empty for a while. But for former students like Heather Atwood, watching it burn down was disheartening.
It's kind of weird though, because of all the years that I went to that school, I was like, well, it's it's a school, but they shouldn't be doing that, but it was really terrifying.
Firefighters spent hours putting out the flames and sifting through the rubble. And while it's unclear how it started, some neighbors wonder if foul play was involved.
Seeing that, it's like horrific. It's more like along the lines of, man, I wonder if somebody's in there. Like, what would give a person a reason or a mindset to do something like this?
Yeah.
Jacksonville Mayor Bob Johnson says the building was on the National Historic Register of Buildings, and the city was working to eventually get it back to its original state.
I just hate it. I mean, it saddens to me that a piece of our history, that our forefathers' history, it's gone.
As a piece of history goes up in smoke. Former students like Atwood say so do her childhood memories. But she says she's just glad no one was hurt.
It could have been a lot worse, yeah.
And the Jacksonville Fire Department says they're just beginning their investigation into what caused this fire, but thankfully no injuries have been reported. Beth?
All right.
We're here at the intersection of 36th and John Barrow, where that pursuit came to a fiery halt this afternoon. This busy stretch in Little Rock was the scene of a high-speed police chase Sunday afternoon.
It was like, wow. Whatever happened, I hope whoever got hit, they made it out.
Video from a witness captures the moments after the pursuit came to a fiery halt at the intersection of 36th Street and John Barrow Road.
Pursuits are always dangerous, but this person was more dangerous. They had already shot one person, and we were concerned about them doing it again.
Little Rock police say they were looking for a suspect involved in a shooting the night before. That's when officers got a call from a driver saying they spotted the suspect's vehicle. Police found the van near the intersection of Canis and Barrow, but say the driver refused to stop.
The suspect fled at a high rate of speed, and at 36 and John Barrow, rear-ended another vehicle. That vehicle ended up catching on fire.
Officers were able to pull the victim from the burning car and say he was rushed to a hospital where he later died. Police identifying the suspect as 40-year-old Frederick Jones, who was also taken to a hospital.
It's crazy the way they drive and stuff. You know, they act like it's a game, but it's not a game. People can lose their lives.
Deborah Brunson lives across the street from where it happened. She says wrecks are far too common in her area.
I can't leave my grandkids out here. I have to keep them up on the porch, and I think that's not fair to them. They can't come in their yard and play because you got people driving crazy.
Brunson says she hopes police step up patrols in her neighborhood, saying it may prevent incidents like this. And police say the suspect, Frederick Jones, is suffering from non-life-threatening injuries. And just within the last hour, we're learning there was a second person in Jones's vehicle, and that person was taken into the police department for questioning. Janelle? Chris, just within the short amount of time we've been here on the Arkansas River Trail, I've seen dozens of people ride by on bikes. And while some of that probably has to do with this great weather, others say it's also a good way to beat the quarantine. For Little Rock native Rex Cole, cycling is part of his weekly routine.
I would say 2 or 3 times a week.
One of his favorite spots to ride is here at Two Rivers Park.
You just feel freedom. You don't have anything constraining you. And Little Rock's got wonderful trails.
And he's not the only one hitting the trails. The coronavirus pandemic has many itching to get outside and enjoy the fresh air.
It's a great way to beat the quarantine, plus people have a lot more time to do it right now.
Owner of Spokes bicycle shop Matt Seelinger says since opening his first store in 2010, he's never seen so much business at one time.
We can't keep up. We've got bikes coming in, a couple of orders weekly, and half of them are sold when they get here.
Seelinger says he's even had to hire more salespeople and mechanics to his team.
We're very blessed to be able to keep our employees and to add more. So there's a lot of people that are hurting for jobs right now, and we were able to fill some spots.
Though keeping up with the demand has been difficult, he says it's refreshing to see so many people take interest in the hobby.
It's a great hobby to get into. Obviously, it's good exercise, it's good cardio.
And many cyclists can agree nothing beats a relaxing bike ride.
It's so great to get outside, not think about virus. It's beautiful. You feel great after you're done.
And not only are bikes flying off the shelves, shop owners say they're also seeing people bring in older bikes for repair as well. Chris?
Okay.